I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Matt Hermstedt. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
Oh, I'm doing fabulous. And it is a wonderful night. It's I'm in Kansas City area, and it's cooled down for the fall, and it's just amazing around here.
It's wonderful. Well, I am glad to have this conversation while you're having an amazing experience tonight, right? Tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting?
Well, I would say there's probably a couple things when I think about it. One of the main thing is probably my unavoidable drive to do too many things in my life and take on new challenges and new adventures continuously. I'm always kind of trying something new, and I think you probably connected with me because I have a podcast as well, and that was one of the things that I took on earlier this year is to start a podcast. It's called the R&D Show, and that's just to once again take on a new challenge, but then also to learn and share knowledge about something that's important to me and I'm passionate about.
Yeah. No, I love R&D. Having a background with working in a laboratory for almost over a decade.
R&D you're in the heart of it.
Yeah, it's close to my heart, right? Especially when organizations are structured in a way where they do not respect R&D and the value it can bring, aka manufacturing companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, when I saw that your podcast, the name of your podcast is the R&D Show, and what you did there, it was a great pleasure to just have this conversation.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know, who did you learn the skills of, what was necessary to share what you share via the show on R&D?
Well, I first did a lot of research. So I looked at podcasts that and also people who post about podcasting and give you everything from the technical details, which there are a lot, as you know, there's a lot of technical details that you have to get right in order to have somewhat of a professional show and be able to do it in a efficient and timely manner. I also think that getting some input from discussions with friends and colleagues about, what other people like to hear, what is interesting. And I think a lot of it is just like so much things in life, whether it's personal or professional. You just have to go for it. You have to get out there and experience it, take the leap into it and learn from every step of the way.
Yeah. You'll definitely be my final conversation tonight on the podcast, and I'll tell you, I've just had possibly like about 12 conversations before you, and it's fascinating to see the tone of the conversation is one where, individuals spoke about, hey, sometimes you just need to get out there and do it. It's a lot like R&D as well, isn't it?
Yes, it's not for the faint of heart. You have to take chances and trust yourself that things are going to work out because they've worked out in the past, and you just have confidence in yourself and your colleagues, your team, and just that you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah. Now, and I know it's still scary, right? It's still scary sometimes, right? Why will you continue to repeat this skill nevertheless?
Well, I think that growth is probably the biggest thing. Growth and learning about myself in all areas. I grew up doing sports, and it's probably a good analogy of the physical challenges, the competitiveness, and a lot of sports you compete on a team. You compete against opponents, but mostly you're really competing against yourself throughout. And where can you stretch your limits? Where can you grow? And that's the same thing for personal skills, whether it's just knowledge or ability or even just peace of mind in your life is something that takes work, and you can gradually get better at.
Yeah, it definitely comes full circle to yourself. Even this goal and setting audacious goals, as I've loved to do. It's a lot. It seems as though, I put someone in front of me usually as the competitor, if you would, the challenger, but truly the greatest battle exists within myself. It's helping Angel to get up, right? Or Angel to do something that he needs to do to get to the goal. Truly.
Yeah, you got to do the work.
battle
You got
starts.
to get out of bed
Yeah.
and put in the energy. And well, you're living it right now. You've had what you said. This is your 12th conversation today.
Yeah.
I would not be able to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it definitely speaks to the individual and who they are and what brings that joy to them. Most definitely, because there are things that you will do that would not bring the joy that it brings to me, right? And vice versa. But yeah, it's still the truth is it still exists. That competitive person is yourself, right? So I love that you put that in there. Now tell me, what's the best way for us to reach your podcast, even connect with what you bring to market?
Oh, well, you can certainly go to the website, which is therndshow.com, and it's RANDD, so it's all spelled out RND. Or go to, just as you would any other podcast, look on the iTunes podcast store and the Google Play that you can subscribe to the podcast. It's readily available.
Wonderful. Tell me one other thing that you've done, please, Matt, consistently over the last 3 years.
I think over the last 3 years, my focus has been to really that knowing yourself and really taking the stressors out of my life, really letting myself relax in my life, and knowing that if I am in my best state like that good things will happen, whether it's, in my career, or in my personal life, or just for myself, that if I can whittle away, first identify and then whittle away at some of the things that are not positive in my life. And I think one way that I've found to do that is mindfulness and being present, and my best shot at some discipline around actually meditating periodically. My goal is, so many times a week, almost every day if I can, but it's not always attained.
Yeah. How does it make you feel?
Oh, it's funny. I was just listening to Pandora, the 70s rock station, and the Eagles have that song that is the peaceful, easy feeling.
Yeah.
And when you have that, it's really permeating your day. Everything just seems like you're effortlessly walking through your day and your life, and there's just so much joy around it. And I think that it takes a little work to maintain that and attain it, but it's like no other high you can have.
Yeah. It stops you from being a passenger in your own life, right? And to take the driver wheel, right? And just yeah. Love that. Why would you suggest someone else do that?
Well, it's obviously, as you could tell from what I said, I think it has a great outcome. For me, it has, and I believe everyone's different, but when you look into things historically over generations, over eons of humans, and over different cultures, the same principles of this keep popping up everywhere. Certainly, when you talk about like Buddhism or Taoism and meditation and yoga and things like that, it's helpful to anyone in any situation. So I think it's something that if you would incorporate into your life, just like any other practice that you have, whether it's your exercise or your diet or your, what you do for entertainment, what you do for adventure, this would just be, just like brushing your teeth.
Well, amazing audience, we are live with Matt Hermstedt. Hey, do check him out. He is the podcast host of the R&D show. Do check him out, right? So Matt, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Matt,
I'm there.
I love it. Matt, what is your earliest childhood memory?
It's always hard to tell because you have these vague ones, whether you don't even know if they're real or not, about falling out of the crib when you're 3 or something. I think the most vivid one that I have is about when I think I was 5 years old, and I had an acute appendicitis and went to the hospital, and they had to take me right into surgery. And of course that's very traumatic, and I don't even remember the actual surgery or anything about that, or even the pain, but I do remember waking up in the middle of the night and looking over, and my dad was in a chair leaning up against the wall, staying the whole night with me there.
Wow.
In the hospital. And I apologize, Engel, because
That's cool.
my dad is having some health problems right now, so it's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
But it just proves to me, what an amazing guy he is, and the influence he's had on my life. And that is by far one of my biggest childhood memories.
Wow, that is absolutely fascinating, my friend. Absolutely fascinating. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Absolutely.
I'll tell you something. It's amazing to know that your father was leaning on that wall. And in life, it's so necessary to understand that even the people that we look up to have a system or a structure that supports them as well. That wall at that particular time, it could be metaphorically meaningly something. It's probably something that's meaning something in his life. But do remember that he had a support system, and you too, as you said, now have a support system that gives you that mindfulness to be able, hopefully, to be that support in the special way you can.
Yes, absolutely.
So for me, that is the connection of the memory.
Yeah, it's parents are such an influence, and I could say that one sticks out as a huge part of my past. But then there's how many millions of just small things along the time, and so it is that accumulation of every little interaction. And as a parent, I have 3 sons. 2 are older from a previous marriage, and one is about to turn 3 years old in November.
Yeah.
So I just think about every interaction with him. How can I, maximize a positive, loving interaction? And I will tell you, as it's not always easy.
It isn't, right? Like I've had over. So I think I'm somewhere around. Like I'm over 1,300 conversations at the time of this recording. Like recorded conversations, not released, right? And I've asked the question, like, what is your earliest childhood memory? So I have 2 sons, and constantly I'm like pulling myself in, reining myself in, thinking, is this going to be the earliest childhood memory? And did I do it wrong, right? So I definitely
you want to have a good
feel.
one.
Yeah. So I definitely know how you feel. But I really appreciate you just being honest with the memory, and I do wish all the best to your father in his particular scenario. Yeah. If we fast forward, my friend, to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Well, I will tell you that I wish I had a better answer. Probably when I was 12 years old, it would have been like Barry Manilow, some record my mom had, because we listened to AM radio in the car. I didn't have my own kind of source of music, so I that's another thing I try to do, maybe be a little bit hipper of an influence on music for my kids than I got from my parents. But I love I'll tap my foot to Copacabana all day long.
Yeah, there we go. It's definitely one of the favorites of the time. I love it. All right, my friend, we have arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So we will go with yes or no. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Matt, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Oh, well, certainly my kids, yes. So, and I try to do it to everyone I come in contact with, and also let them pass on stuff to me.
Yeah, so important. Are you married?
Yes. my wonderful wife, Jane.
There we go. You said you have 3 children, right? Do you
Yes.
believe in God?
No.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Besides Jane, I also have a couple really close friends, and we have kind of a group of friends that we hang out with and stay in touch with pretty closely.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I don't have cable. I just have a TV that I use for occasional Netflix and to watch the Chiefs game and other sporting events over the air.
All right. So what about screen time? The phone and the computer, is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
So would that count my work computer?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, so it depends on the day at work. So like these last days, I've been catching up on a lot of spreadsheet work, which is kind of one of those middle levels of hell and the inferno. But it's so sometimes I'm more meeting focused. So it's probably anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a day, unfortunately.
Right.
But then mostly it's very little screen time outside of the office.
Yeah. I had one guy on, right? And he incorporated the windscreen time. I was like, where did you even think about that? But it's so real as well, right? The windscreen time is a lot too, right? Like driving.
Driving yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was like,
I actually, I use that. I listen to podcasts, so I don't even consider that screen time. It's.
Oh, you're still plugged in. Yeah, you're listening. Yeah. Love it. All right, my friend. Hey, well, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook. The name of the workbook is called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. And as you dig deeper into your own unique real self, my hope is that you find your own unique real statement, your mission. If you had to share with us, Matt, your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
Wow, that's a tough assignment. Can I get back to you after a full week of thinking it over?
Yeah,
but
sure.
I think for me it is I think when I look at that, the word real is very powerful and also unique. I'm a very big fan of creativity. I think I have a good unique creative voice myself. But the real part is to deal with reality, recognize reality, and accept it in yourself. Is a good starting place in all aspects of life, and then worry about other people after you've kind of got a good handle on yourself.
Love it. Matt, hey, this has been a great pleasure, my friend. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, I think we've covered it. 12 minutes. You can cover more than many conversations I've had for hours and hours. So I appreciate you doing a heck of a job.
Hey, thanks a lot, Matt. Matt Hermstedt, hey, thank you, my friend, for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
My pleasure, Angel. Have a great day.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.